Hi everyone, my name's Chris Fenter, and today we're going to talk about getting into cryptocurrency. So, next thing we're going to talk about is wallets. So, if you're going to be trading Bitcoin, you need a place to keep the cryptocurrencies that you trade. And there are lots of choices here, and I've got some pictures of the different choices. So we got an online wallet over here. On the right, we've got hardware wallets. These are two wallets by a company called Ledger, and that's a Ledger Blue, and that's a Nano S. We got phone-based, mobile-based wallets. This is one called Bread, sitting on an iPhone. And you've got paper-based wallets. So we're going to talk a lot about wallets. What's the pros, what's the cons of different wallets. Okay, so what's a wallet? Well, a wallet effectively gives you access to the digital currencies that you own. So the name can be misleading because unlike a physical wallet where the money you own actually sits inside the wallet, a digital wallet doesn't actually store your cryptocurrency. So you don't have your Bitcoin sitting inside your actual wallet. The digital wallet really doesn't contain the Bitcoin, doesn't contain the Ethereum. It contains a link to your cryptocurrency that sits on the blockchain. So when you buy cryptocurrency or you trade it, there's a entry in a ledger that occurs in the blockchain, and that entry sits on a particular block within the blockchain, and that's identified by a unique identifier. And you have what's called a private key, and the private key identifies the link to the cryptocurrency that you own, and it allows you to transact on that cryptocurrency. So effectively, the job of your digital wallet is really not to store the cryptocurrency, but it's to store the private keys that point to the transactions and the money that you own. And so it feels and looks like the same, but it's really quite different. So your private key is a very, very important thing that you have to keep safe. With the private key, anyone can access your cryptocurrency, and anyone can transact with your cryptocurrency. They can send it to another wallet, and once that's done, you've lost it. So think of it like if you dropped cash on the street, it's gone. If you lose your private key, it's gone. And there have been plenty of cases of people who owned a lot of Bitcoin who have lost their wallet, they've lost their private key, and that money is gone. They will never ever see it again. And they are kicking themselves now. And that can happen with any of the cryptocurrencies. So keeping your private key very, very safe is something extremely important that you're going to have to learn a lot about. There are multiple wallet types, as I talked about before. There's online wallets, there are software wallets, there are paper wallets, and there are hardware wallets. And all of them have got different pros and different cons, which we'll talk about next. So let's go to online wallets first. So online wallets are wallets that typically sit on exchanges, or that can run from your PC. The great thing about online wallets is they're very easy to set up. They're usually linked to an exchange, and they're accessible from anywhere in the world when you on your computer or whatnot. So they're accessible from the internet anywhere. They also have what I'd say is called high liquidity. Either the cryptocurrency or the fiat money that you have is connected to that and available straight away, and you can sell and you can buy with that very, very quickly. And they also typically cost nothing. They don't cost anything to buy, that kind of wallet. So what's the downside of that kind of wallet? Depending on the type of wallet, if it's with an exchange, remember I talked about the private keys. Well, you don't own the private key in that particular circumstance. The exchange does. So when you log into the exchange with your exchange account, a wallet's created for you, and that key is stored within the exchange. If something goes wrong, if that exchange gets hacked and someone gets that key, they have access to your funds and they can take them. Money sitting on these types of online wallets and exchanges is also more susceptible, I guess, for hackers. Hackers really love attacking exchanges, and there have been a number of those where they've been able to steal money because, you know, it's obviously a bigger target. It's easier. You don't control the crypto on that. It's owned by someone else, and they give you the ability to access it and transfer it, you know, and use it as you please. But it's accessed through an online application, and the exchange decides. The other thing with an online wallet is, if the cryptocurrency that you're trading in does what's called a fork, then if your money is sitting on an exchange, you may or may not get that, because remember, the exchange owns the wallet, and if the cryptocurrency forks, then when a new currency is created out of that fork, the exchange gets the money, and sometimes they've chosen to keep that. So whereas if you own the money in your own wallet, then you get it. Now, what is a fork? I won't go into all the detail of it, but there are many forks that have occurred. So a good example of that recently is there was Bitcoin, the original. There was a fork of that called Bitcoin Cash, and anyone who owned Bitcoin at the top of the fork also got a Bitcoin Cash amount of money. Similar to Bitcoin Gold was another fork that occurred. So these forks do occur, and you could think of them like a dividend, if you like. And if your money's on a online wallet, depending on the type of wallet, you may not get that dividend. The next thing is a software wallet. So a software wallet is it's probably more secure than online wallet. The data is available on your own computer or mobile device. It's easy to back up yourself, and you control access to the cryptocurrency through the wallet at any time. There's also zero cost to set up. These wallets are free, and you can download them to you know, your mobile device or to a computer. So example of a software wallet is one of the ones I showed before, something like Bread Wallet, where you download it onto your mobile phone if you're on iOS, or there's different types on Android. The one thing with these is that if your computer is stolen, so if you've got your private key stored in a wallet on your computer at home and that computer is stolen, then those private keys are gone. And if you haven't backed up that wallet, then you will lose your money. Same thing if you put it on a mobile phone. So if you put in a wallet like Bread Wallet and you store your cryptocurrency private keys and links to your transactions on that wallet, and your mobile phone is stolen or broken and inaccessible, and if you haven't backed that up, then once again, you have lost it. So hackers can also hack computers that have got wallets on, and they like to do that through malware. So people accidentally download malware, they watch people entering their wallets, they look at their passwords, and they're able to steal their money that way too. So they're more safe than online, but still have some risk. They also require a little bit of technical knowledge, and they definitely require you to back them up. So you get an option when you create one of these wallets to do what's called a backup, and they ask you to write down 12 words or 16 called a recovery phrase. And they're just random words, and you have to store those random words very safely, because with those 12 random words, you can recreate your wallet and get access back to your funds. But if you haven't backed up those recovery phrase, then you have dropped your cash on the street equivalently, and it's gone for good. So next one is a paper wallet. So a paper wallet, you control where and how you store the wallet. You can print out a paper wallet, store it in a safe, store it in a bank, safety deposit box, wherever you want to keep it. It's much more secure than an online wallet, and it's certainly much more secure than a software wallet. Nice thing is it can be stored without an internet connection, and it doesn't require a computer or a mobile device to store that. And it's zero cost. So downsides though is it's on paper, and paper can get damaged, it can fade over time, paper can get physically stolen. So if you've broken into your house and your safe is stolen, someone steals your paper wallet, they now have access to your cryptocurrency. And there's also a little bit of technical knowledge required to generate and use a paper wallet properly. And the other, I guess, challenge with paper wallets is they're very low liquidity. So if the market's moving very quick and you need to sell, then getting the money from your paper wallet into the exchange can take a little bit of time if you need to, physically access it and it's at a different location or in your safe or at a bank or in a safety deposit box. It can mean that the time taken to react is slow, and depending on what type of trading you're doing, that may or may not be a problem for you. The nice thing about a paper wallet, though, is you do control the private keys, and in the situation of a fork, like I talked about before, you can manually claim the other alternative coin that the fork occurs. So if you own Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Cash fork happens and you've got a paper wallet, a copy effectively of your coins are put into the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, and you're able to manually recover those at some point, so you haven't lost them. The final type of wallet is a hardware wallet, and a hardware wallet is the most secure. It's also possible to back up a hardware wallet. So when you set up a hardware wallet, they give you a series of words to write down, and again, you store those very safely. And if you lose the hardware wallet, or if it breaks, with that recovery phrase, you can recover it. The nice thing about a hardware wallet, though, is if you do lose it, no one else can access it. They're protected by passwords, they're protected by two-factor authentication, and the data is encrypted into physical encrypted chips on the hardware wallet. So there's minimal likelihood of hacking. Hackers aren't going to be able to steal the data on a hardware wallet, at least within the bounds of the technology we have today. Maybe when quantum computing becomes available, that might be a different story. One of the things is they are expensive. Don't know why I put that as a pro. Actually meant to put that in the con column. Another pro, though, is the wallet is when a fork occurs, you get given the coins automatically if the wallet company supports that. So in some of the recent forks like Bitcoin Cash, for example, the Ledger, people who own the Ledger hardware wallet, automatically got a process to collect their Bitcoin Cash out of that. So it just makes it a little bit easier. You can do it manually, though. So on the con side, they're expensive. Nano S in Australia is about $99, should I say, and a Ledger Blue is roughly $400. You do need to look after them physically. They're an electronic device and they can get broken easily. They can be physically lost, although if you do lose them, no one can actually access the cryptocurrency on them, but they're expensive. They do require you to store your recovery keys very carefully, though, so that you could re-access those. They've also got a lower liquidity, and what I mean by this is, if you have your wallet with all your Bitcoin or all your other cryptocurrencies stored on a hardware wallet, and something's happening in the market and you want to trade some of that Bitcoin, you've got to plug in your hardware wallet. You've got to send the Bitcoin from your wallet to the exchange. And that can take a while, depending on the exchange, depending on the backlog of unconfirmed transactions on the blockchain. This can take anywhere from an hour to 10 hours sometimes, and the market can move a lot in that period of time if it's volatile at that point in time. Also, if you don't have the physical hardware wallet on you, if it's at home, if you're traveling on a business trip and it's not with you, then you're also going to be stuck and there's nothing you can do about it. So those are some of the pros and the cons of the different wallet types. So wallets versus exchanges. So I've heard some people say to me, Chris, do you even need a wallet? Why can't I leave my money on a cryptocurrency exchange that I purchased it from? Well, you can. So you can log onto the exchange, you can convert your fiat, your Australian dollar money into the exchange, you can buy Bitcoin, and you can leave your Bitcoin on that exchange. And it's accessible, it's highly liquid, you can sell it, you can trade it, you can do whatever you want with it. And so it's definitely an alternative, and there are people that do this. Should you, is the question. I guess it depends on your trading strategy and how much risk you're prepared to expose yourself to. So if you're buying cryptocurrencies for long-term value gain and you're betting that this stuff's going to be worth a lot in the future, then keeping it on exchange is probably not the smartest idea. You want to move it to one of the other wallet types, whether that be a software wallet or a paper wallet, or probably best still a hardware wallet. And when you leave your cryptocurrency on an exchange, remember the exchange creates a wallet that stores your keys. And keeping these keys safe is now the job of the exchange. And exchanges are prime targets for hackers. And if an exchange gets hacked, there is a very good possibility you may lose your coins or your money forever. And there are many cases that this occurred. The exchanges are prime targets for hackers and they get hacked all the time. Here's a list since 2014, and I know there's been another one, even quite a major one since this, where about $60 million worth of Bitcoin was stolen in the last week. But going back to Mt. Gox, which was the most famous one, where $473 million was stolen. Back to recently, where the Tether in November 2017 was hacked and 30 million stolen. Now, not all these Hacksman customers lost their money, by the way, but someone lost their money. So you have to take a big risk if you're leaving your money or your cryptocurrency coins sitting on exchange for any long period of time, and decide whether the speed of trade and exchange and liquidity you get by doing that outweighs the risk of you leaving there and someone packing up shop and walking away with either your money or your coins. Right, so let's talk about some approaches to wallets. So your situation might differ, but here's one approach you could use. So for Bitcoin, Ethereum, any altcoins for that matter that you intend to hold for a long period of time, for long-term gain or for whatever reason, should be stored in a hardware or cold storage wallet, like a Ledger, NanoS, a Trezor, or even a paper wallet. And in Australia, there's multiple places you can get them. You can get them on eBay, Amazon. There's a local place called CoinStop. The hyperlink's having a bit of trouble for some reason. So here you can see the CoinStop website, and you can see they have Trezor, Ledger Blue, and NanoS, although currently all out of stock, so it must be popular. So you'll have to shop around for one of those. So store your hardware wallet recovery phrases securely away from the device. I can't stress this enough. If you get a hardware wallet, it's going to ask you to write down a number of words and recovery phrases. Take that phrase, write it down, probably keep 2 backups of that phrase, give one to your parents or someone you really trust, and keep one in your safe or wherever you want to hide it that you think is somewhere that A, you'll remember, and B, no one else is going to find. Do not, whatever you do, store it with the hardware wallet or device. If you don't want to invest in a hardware wallet and you don't want a paper wallet, then the next best option is really a software wallet on a separate mobile phone that you can store somewhere physically safe. So depending on whether you use something like iOS or Android, there are different wallets. So, topic too long for discussion here, but, there's examples. I used to use Bread and Jax. Coinomi have a wallet. All of these have got their pros and cons, so something definitely to consider. So a couple of things though, when you do choose a wallet to put on a mobile phone, open source wallets are preferred. Open source means the code is freely visible. You can check it if you're technically minded, or the community, you can be sure, has checked it to make sure that there's nothing inappropriate on there. And the code is visible and that the code can be trusted. So most of the wallets that are open source will say they are. Bread, for example, is. Jax, certainly at the time of me publishing this, was not. Keep the wallet recovery phases stored securely away from the device. It's the same as a hardware wallet. When you have a software wallet on an iPhone or an Android or something like that, you'll have to write down a 12-word recovery phrase. Leave that somewhere very separate and safe from the device. I would also suggest you factory reset the mobile phone before you install any wallet software. Also, make sure it's a separate phone. Don't put it on your daily phone that you use every day. Get an old phone, or buy a new phone that you plan on keeping. But whatever it is, factory reset it, and then only use the wallet application that you're going to store your coins on that phone. Do not put anything else. Don't download games. Whatever you do, just have that device with only one app on it. Also keep it on airplane mode all the time, and only access the internet when and if you need to transfer coins to the wallet or transfer your cryptocurrency from the wallet. And also make sure you download the real wallet from the developers. There's tons of fake sites that have wallets that seem like the real thing. You download those, you put in your private keys, or you transfer Bitcoin into them, and before you know it, they will be gone if it's a fake wallet. So a couple of things to keep in mind if you do use a mobile phone based wallet, to make sure that you follow those guidelines. So with that approach, whether you store it in a hardware wallet or whether you store it in a software wallet based on a mobile phone, what you then do is, when you want to trade, if your coins are stored, or your references or your private keys are stored on there, and you want to send your coins to the exchange, you then access the hardware wallet, or you access the software wallet, and you send the coins to the address that the exchange will give you for your local wallet. Now be aware, this can take several hours to occur, depending on how busy the blockchain is, what the unconfirmed transaction are, what the mempool size is. There's some technical terms here, but basically it can take 40 minutes and it can take 10 hours. You have a choice of how much you pay in transaction fees. That can speed things up, but even then I've seen this take quite a long time. So it's not going to be instant to get it off your hardware wallet or your iPhone based or Android based software wallet to an exchange. Will take anywhere from 1 hour to 10, 24 hours, depending on how busy the network is. So be prepared. And as I said, use a separate phone and keep it stored securely. Hide it, keep it in a safe, do whatever you need to, treat it like it's a wallet full of cash.